Hey, look, he's smiling. Kind of a wry smile.
I need to take this lane home with me.
Boy, Marshall, I thought he had that when he put her deep into the pocket.
Yeah, well, just too much. A little high in the pocket and a lot of power. And unfortunately for Bone, sometimes the great shots don't strike.
Thought it was good.
Well, Bone walked back and Barnes was shaking his head. He couldn't believe it either.
Haley, World Amateur Bowler of the Year in 1995 and 96, former member of Team USA. Steady all week long.
For any chance, he must strike here in the ninth. And he leaves a solid 9.
Good adjustment.
Well, it actually was a good adjustment. It came in light, did not hit the head pin the last time, made the proper adjustment. Watch the ball as it hooks past the 9 pin. Never even comes close to it. Now that's a shot that's a result of the equipment. The ball just drives so hard with the new dynamic equipment. And he makes the spare, but right now it's all in this man's hand. Chris Barnes. 231, the best that Bone can shoot. Chris Barnes just needs to stay behind the line.
Does that, and the strike as the 8 pin finally falls. Chris Barnes with a double, and we understand we're having a little bit of breakup video, and trying to correct the problem, but there's no breakup whatsoever. Chris Barnes' game tonight. Boy, Barnes, you look at Marshall, the way he holds the ball, but getting him to play so many different angles, going a little bit straighter tonight. Just the 10 pin, that's all right.
Well, there's a smile from Barnes as he knows he's taking care of the business in the first match. He will be going against Danny Wiseman in the championship match. The reaction of Barnes. He says that's okay. Sigh of relief.
The 255 for Chris Barnes, who will move now into the title match. Parker Bone will finish out his game, as will Patrick Healy Jr. And Chris Barnes, Marshall, we talked about it before, but you went through this a couple of years where you just didn't win a tournament and had trouble winning on TV. Barnes?
You know, and sometimes it's a combination of many things. You know, Barnes has bowled some great games and just been bettered by whoever he was competing against that day. And then other times he's had a chance to come through and hasn't been able to do it. So he really wants to get it done. He's upset with the fact that he's had so many opportunities and hasn't stepped through to capture the win this year. And he thinks it's his time. But, you know, Danny Wiseman's going to have a lot to say about that.
Well, for Barnes, a win today could vault him to the top of the list for Player of the Year, even though Norm Duke has won 3 titles this year. So really, again, a very close race with 1 week to go next week in the Houston area.
And Norm Duke finished 26th this week, so didn't make the match play.
Parker finishes with 231.
Well, you'll see Parker, who's in 8th place, and he'll stay there on the all-time title list.
That's all I want to end.
I didn't see your name up there. Well, you're 22. You're not on that first page.
No, I tried to make a deal with the guys in graphics, but they said they just ran out of room.
Those ballots are tough to read. Almost picked it up. Oh, Patrick Healy. Great style, but again, he'll be there because he is just a fine player. When we come back, Marshall Holman, my partner, will be talking with newest member of the PBA Hall of Fame, Parker Bone III. Chris Barnes, the winner of Match 1, here from Highland Lanes in Austin. Well, the final score of our opening match, and it was all Chris Barnes. Started off with the first 6, added a couple later strikes, finishes with a 255. Parker Bone 231, and Patrick Healy at 193. So Chris Barnes will move into our title match. Well, when you're not watching the PBA Tour, be sure and spend all your spare time on the PBA's dynamic new website, pba.com. Click your way through all the latest PBA news and information. Follow your favorite players through the rest of the 2000 season. And really a great site that contains up-to-date statistics, player bios, the latest happenings from the national, senior, and regional tours, and even talk to fellow PBA fans in the PBA chat room. All of this and more at pba.com. And now, Marshall with some other finishers this week.
Well, we'll take a look at some of the other finishers, and we have Jason Couch. He won last week's Tournament of Champions, so having another good week, just missing in the 6th position. And Mike Albee, the great Hall of Famer from Indianapolis, finishing 9th, coming up a little bit short himself. There's Brian Voss, and Brian Voss, every week he's been close. Now, he did make the finals a couple of weeks ago. He finishes 14th. Good-looking Tommy DeLutz finishing 19th, unable to really find the magic in match play. And the powerful one from Tarpon Springs, Florida, Steve Hoskins, 23rd.
All right, now it is time for our Score More with Brunswick tip. Here's my partner, Marshall Holman, with a very special guest.
Joining me this week is Parker Bone III, the newest member of the PBA's Hall of Fame. And Parker, what exactly does the Hall of Fame mean to you?
Well, Marshall, to be honest, to be in the PBA Hall of Fame with players such as yourself, the great Earl Anthony, Mark Roth, it's honestly a feat unimaginable. I can't believe it.
Now, if you could pick out one moment, one particular tournament in your career, what's a special time for you?
Oh my, a special time for me, I believe, would have to be last fall when I beat Walter A. Williams in the Canandaigua Open. To me, that was the cap off to being PBA Player of the Year. That really means the most.
Now, after being such a great player for so many years, I'm going to give you the opportunity to give a tip to our viewers watching this evening.
I think the best tip I can give any bowler is to don't dwell on a negative. Only continue to think about a positive. When you think about a positive, you're going to repeat a positive, and I can tell you right now, the sky's the limit from there.
All right, thanks a lot, Parker. And that's our Hall of Fame tip for the week.
Where's Marshall Holman?
I'm right here, aren't I?
Let me see here.
Wait a minute, I'm everywhere.
One is enough, and Halloween has passed. All righty, our championship match when we come back should be an exciting one. Chris Barnes will take on our tournament leader, Danny Wiseman. An enthusiastic crowd here at Highland Lanes in Austin, the Columbia 300 Open. And Marshall, we are set for the title match. Chris Barnes taking on Danny Wiseman, and something has to give. Wiseman hasn't won in over 2 years, 10 straight shows since he last won in Portland. And Chris Barnes, of course, has not won this year.
We'll see if Barnes can keep the magic going from the last game. And I believe the runners go from second to third. That was a balk.
Somebody clapping over there somewhere.
Something distracted Barnes. And he does that with some frequency where he heard someone clapping, so...
Boy, it's tough to hold up with that.
Yeah, he's strong.
Ball coming through like that. First frame, title match.
Solid 10. Now he'll switch balls, throw it very hard and very straight.
No problem with the 10 pin. Just won 300 game this week. Ryan Goebel in the fourth round of the tournament. Goebel, pretty good player. 9 wins, including the Brunswick World TFC, but just the one perfect game this week. Danny Wiseman, first shot. Title match.
Going with more hook. And a solid shot to open up the championship game. Still sporting his retro look. And getting a lot of comments. People like it.
Yep. Out of Baltimore, 33 years old. Been out here 11 years. And really a nice fall swing. 4th in Canandaigua, 14th at the Johnny Petraglia Open in North Brunswick, 3rd in Erie, 9th in Indy, 12th last week in the TFC, and here he is on the TV show. Well, look at that stop.
So the early double, not a lot of emotion.